Hi, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Eldercare's Eldercare Academy training series. I am Adrienne Ostris,
And I'm Candy Golden.
and we are super excited to kick off this year with our special guest, Banner Life. I just want to say Banner. That's what I always say, Banner, but it's Banner Life. We have Samuel with Banner joining us, and we are going to talk specifically about one product this morning. We're going to be talking about the term product.
Term product.
Okay. And I know that, hold on, let me see who's on here real quick. We got Connie, Gary, Morris. Hey, good morning, guys. Thank you so much for getting on. If you're not familiar with how these live Zooms go, you just need to find the Q&A box. So we disable the chat. You have to communicate with us on the Q&A box. So if you'll find that, let us know. You can hear us, see us. And any questions that you have for our guest or for us, please get them in there so we can get them answered for you. But without further ado, I'd love to introduce our special guest, Samuel with Banner Life.
Awesome. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sam Mims. I'm the internal over here with Banner Life. Been with Banner for 3-4 years now. Not exactly sure the exact time frame, but definitely excited to be here with you guys.
Thank you so much. So you go by Sam?
Yeah, Sam is perfectly fine. So Sam, Samuel, doesn't really matter either way.
Okay.
But whatever's easiest to say.
Awesome. Well, I'm super excited to talk about this specific product. I know, I don't know if you're going to go over any of the marketing part, but you guys' portal with the marketing materials is like why I was like, we got to get Banner Life on here because agents need to know like what you guys provide them to help them sell these products.
Yes. No, absolutely. That's a really good point. So, so I'm going to go through this. I'm going to talk about, who we are, what our product is, our writers, our features. And then if you need me to, I can switch over. I can kind of show everybody the advisor hub where you can get all your marketing materials and all that from. So we do have a lot of great resources. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with Banner and who we are. So we are a term insurance company. That is our main focus. We have one permanent product, which I'll kind of go over, but it's for conversions only, but we deal with term insurance. And because the fact that our focus is so narrowed on that one product, we do it extremely well. We're one of the first companies in the industry to go completely digital. So from the time that you drop a ticket to the time your client places a policy in force, it's all online. There's no paper, there's no wet signatures, there's not going back and forth with the client to get forms signed. It's all done electronically. And because of that fact, we are able to expedite policies from start to finish faster than almost any other carrier can. So let me just go over here and kind of talk about, some of this right here. Now, kind of told you who we are. We're a term insurance company. 99% of claims paid. In 2025, we paid out over $1.18 billion in claims to clients. 102 million adults in the United States say they need life insurance or need more life insurance. So there is always a huge opportunity to be discussing life insurance and specifically term insurance, just because of how cost effective this type of coverage can be for the normal American. Now, some of the things that you may not know about Banner Life. And the first one, now most carriers probably say this, committed to being top 3 in pricing. One thing that we do very differently than any other insurance company I've ever worked for is we are able to reprice our product almost on a dime. Within a 24 to 48 hour period, if somebody outprices us and gets us out of that top 3 for pricing, we can already have a reprice done. So just know that we are very committed to staying in that top 3 category in pricing. And because of that, we can reprice our OPTerm product within 24 to 48 hours. Just know that because we can do reprices that quickly, do not be concerned. Your clients are eligible for whatever pricing was best for them within a 30-day window of when they sign their application. So if we do a reprice, last week, or if we do a reprice today and you talk to your client 2 days ago, do not worry about it. Your client is going to be eligible for whatever that best pricing was within a 30-day window of whenever they taken that. application.
Good to know.
Another big thing about us, because we are digital from start to finish, we have a really awesome and kind of robust accelerated underwriting. So our underwriting parameters for our instant decision accelerated underwriting is going to be ages 20 to 60, up to $4 million of coverage. And then our product, it is, even though we have this instant decision kind of parameter with it, it is a fully underwritten product, which means that not only can we be extremely good for healthy clients, but we can be extremely beneficial for clients that have more extensive health histories. We can underwrite anything up to a table 12. We have anywhere from a 10-year all the way out to a 40-year duration. And then our max issue age on our term product for our 10 and I'll double check, I believe our 15-year as well, is age 75. Mm-hmm. So we do have the ability to underwrite for older clients, clients with longer health histories, and clients that just need any kind of range of durations.
That's awesome. You know, the accelerated underwriting is something that our agents talk about a lot, that they need quick decisions instead of long decisions. We've had companies before that's taken, you know, up to 2 months to get somebody approved for a term insurance. So that accelerated underwriting is great.
And definitely, so in kind of light of that, I can't go into all the details yet, but just so you kind of have some background of what's happening over here at Banner. So right now, today, our parent company is called Legal & General. They're an asset management fund out of the UK. Not really that important. But at the end of the month, beginning of February, we're actually transitioning over to Meiji Yasuda, which is an actual life insurance company out of Japan. This is going to be really good news. So over the next coming weeks, be on the lookout for some materials from Banner about some of the updates that we're making. They're going to be huge benefits and positives for your clients, especially around this instant decision. So more to come on that. Can't go into a lot of details, but just know that probably within the next month, you guys are going to be receiving some communications from us in regards to some of those big changes that are taking place, and they should really help out for you and your clients.
Thanks for the insight there.
Absolutely. Now, our products. So as I mentioned, we're a term company. So you may end up hearing of other products that are offered, but just know that the OPTerm product is the flagship product of Banner Life. It is our most well-priced product, and it's what everybody on this call has access to. So our OPTerm product, a couple of things about it. It is going to be age nearest. It is convertible until the client is 70 years old. If the client is above the age of 66, they are guaranteed a minimum of 5 years for that conversion.
That's good. Not all terms convert.
No, they don't. And the underwriting classifications, I think, you know, that he's about to get to, that's awesome. Having a preferred plus, that's rare too.
Yes. And so that can, I definitely, I'm glad you brought that up. So these are all the underwriting classifications that we have. So we have preferred plus, preferred, standard plus, standard, preferred tobacco, standard tobacco, and then all the table rates that you have. Another really good thing about Banner Life is if you do have older clients or clients that have a longer health history and they would fall into a table rate, we base our table rates off of standard plus, not standard non-tobacco.
That's awesome.
And what that means for you and your clients is whenever you find yourself in a situation where you have a client that maybe, let's say, a table B, us compared to other companies is already going to be at a stronger point, because most companies, whenever they base their table rates, it's going to be based off of the standard non-tobacco pricing, while ours is standard plus, which means that sometimes you're going to find that even though our table rates are there, there's still going to be a lower cost than what another company may be offering, just because of that fact that we will base it off of standard plus and not standard non-tobacco. So just because you find yourself in a situation where you have a client with some extensive health history, always give us a try. Give us a quote and see where we fall in on that. It may be slightly difficult to illustrate us like organically on like iPipeline and stuff like that, just because you typically have to choose a health rate. Like, oh, I want to do standard non-tobacco. If we don't show up whenever you choose standard non-tobacco table, whatever, just rerun it for the standard plus. That way we will show up on there and then take a look and see where our pricing kind of compares. So it may take that one extra step, just because I know some of the quoting systems can be a little wonky in that regards, but just know that if we do not show up, just try running it with that Standard Plus and see where we fall on that.
Good to know. Yeah, because we do offer iPipeline too to our agents.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes it will show up. I don't hear a lot of complaints about it, but if you ever run into a situation where we're not showing up, just double check that and see kind of where we stand. A lot of times we may pleasantly surprise you there on the pricing aspect of it. Now, with most insurance or most life insurance, we do have the bands. So what that kind of means for you and your client is, let's say you have a client that wants $200,000 of coverage. If you want $200,000 of coverage, I would also run the quote at $250,000. There are certain situations where you will find that a client's premium can get lower the higher the death benefit goes. It's very common that I will see somebody run something in this one or this band one at $200,000, but $250,000 is actually a lower cost, even though it's more death benefit. So just keep that in mind whenever you guys are kind of running quotes, is that, if you're coming close to being in the next band, just run a quick quote to see. Maybe the pricing will go down for the client if you move into the band two at this $250,000 price point versus $200,000 at the band one. And kind of, it works for any of these like bands here, but kind of a little known fact. Not sure if you guys have ever ran into that before, but just know that if you're getting close to that next band, just run a quick quote. See what it looks like. It may pleasantly kind of surprise you and your client to be able to say, hey, you can pay $40 a month for $200,000, or you can pay $38 a month for $250,000. So you get $50,000 more, and you're saving a little bit on the premium as well. It's not a guarantee that will happen every time, but you will find that the more you run the quotes, the more you will see things like that. Now, as far as what we kind of offer, so you can kind of see here, as far as our term durations, we offer anywhere from a 10-year all the way out to a 40-year duration. You can see for our OPTerm 10, and then 15.
So yes, that the term from 10 to 40. I mean, I love that y'all go to 40 years.
Yes.
People that are younger and they're looking for something that's going to last them into their 80s. They need that 40-year term.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, the good thing about that 40-year term is the max issue age is 45. So if you have a client that is 45 years old and purchases that 40-year term, that's going to be in force, in place until they are 85 before it gets out of duration. That's kind of insane to think that a term policy could take you that far. But it also kind of goes on the older ages as well. Because, you can do that OPTerm 15 for a 75-year-old, which would get that client to age 90 in that. So just know that we have term products that can get clients to those later ages in life. So always keep us in mind for that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think that happens. Like when people think term, people think, oh, someone young.
Yes. Yes, and they also think, that they'll call in for, it'll be outrageous in pricing for anyone that's above 65.
Yeah.
And you don't find that here. So.
No, absolutely. Now, the only thing that really changes this, is going to be, first off, if you do have agents that are in New York does have slightly different age ranges. I don't know if you guys do a lot of New York business or not, but just want to throw that out there if you have any agents listening that are New York. Another thing is if you get a tobacco rate. So as you can kind of see here, like OPTerm 20, we can do 20 to 70 if it's a non-tobacco rate. But if the client is tobacco, then it's 20 to 65. So just keep in mind that tobacco rates and New York can cause slightly different outcomes with that, what we just talked about. But I will make sure you guys have a copy of this. That way, if you guys ever need it in the future, you'll be able to kind of have this at easy kind of arm's reach.
Yeah, I've already taken a picture of the screen.
Perfect. All right. So moving on from that. So we kind of mentioned earlier that we do have one permanent product. It is our LifeStep UL. This is our conversion product. So the conversion is good until the client is age 70. For clients that are over 66 years old, whenever they purchase their term policy, they're guaranteed a minimum of 5 years for that conversion. Now, a couple of things about this. This is a kind of plain Jane kind of UL. It's a GUL contract. There's no real cash accumulation. It has to be run with a guarantee. It's not going to be a very malleable kind of like customizable product. Realistically, the only thing that you can really change on it is going to be how long do you want that guarantee to be for? It naturally runs to age 121, but let's say you have a client that only wants it to age 90. You can customize that guarantee, but that's realistically going to be the only thing that can be customized for it. Now, not to scare anybody off about this, but I do want to be kind of upfront and kind of clear about the LifeStep UL and where it kind of falls. It is specifically priced for clients that don't have other options. So it's for those clients that, since they bought their term policy, they've had really serious health concerns that would bar them from being able to get other types of coverages. And because of that, it's priced accordingly with that. So if your clients are eligible health-wise to find new policies, definitely I would recommend kind of looking at that, just because they will get a better price point. They will probably pay a lot better pricing on a new policy versus this. But just know that this is there for those clients that do not have any other option and they still need coverage. And the good thing about this is the minimum face amount is $50,000. At $50,000 and $100,000, it's really not that bad a price product. It's whenever you start looking at $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, that you'll typically find that it's going to be more expensive than what they would normally find if they were to buy a new product.
Is there a max amount?
So no max amount, just whatever the term policy that they currently had, whatever its death benefit is, would be the max.
Okay.
All right. So next, I want to talk about the riders. And the reason why I want to really bring up the riders is because we do have some really cool features here that not a lot of people know about. Now, the first one, on paper, it doesn't sound that flashy, but I promise you it is actually a really cool one, especially coming from somebody who's had bad conversations with clients about child riders in the past. Our child rider is not medically underwritten. So as long as the parents can get the coverage, we do not ask any medical questions about the child. So it does not matter if they have Down syndrome, autism, type 1 diabetes, whatever it is that would normally stop them from getting their own types of coverage, it doesn't matter to us. As long as the parents can get the coverage, they can get the child rider. Another thing about this is both spouses can get the rider. So we offer a $5,000 and a $10,000 amount for the child rider. And so if both parents bought the $10,000 child rider, then essentially they would have $20,000 of coverage insuring that child. Another big thing about the child rider that I want to make sure everybody is aware of is it is convertible at the age of 25 for the child or at the age 65 for the parent. And you can convert to up to 5 times that amount. So if both spouses did the $10,000 benefit, they could convert that into our LifeStep UL product for $100,000. Just keep that in mind. It's not going to be every day that you run into a situation where you have clients that children would not be eligible for life insurance. But if you do find that yourself in that situation, keep this in mind. You can get that rider. Yeah, it absolutely happens. I have had horrible conversations about that in the past. It's honestly one of the worst type of conversations you can have is telling somebody that we can't do anything for your kid. Like that honestly sucks to have that type of conversation. But just know that they can get the child rider and they can convert that to their own standalone permanent policy at the age of 25 or 65 for the parents for up to 5 times the actual total rider amount. So up to $500,000 or $100,000 of benefit. Also want to say child rider not eligible in Maryland or New York at this point. Now, a waiver premium, I'm not going to go into too much detail about that. It works like most companies waiver premium. You can kind of see the issue ages for it are 20 to 55. If you're non-tobacco, 20 to 50 of tobacco. And you can do that waiver premium all the way up through table 4 and a maximum face amount of $6 million. But for those of you that aren't familiar with waiver premium, typically what it does is if you're not able to perform your profession, you would be able to go on claim for the waiver premium, and it does exactly what it says. It waives the premium on the policy. So really awesome benefit. it's not exactly created equal for every single client. So, I mean, you would definitely want to take a look and see what that client does for a living. Because, you know, myself as a wholesaler, I don't know what would have to happen to me before I could go on claim for a waiver of premium. But if you have clients that, you know, they're doing construction, they're more, you know, hands-on white or blue collar work, you may find that waiver premium can absolutely be a huge benefit for them because, you know, if they lose the ability to walk or they lose a hand or something like that, that could absolutely affect their profession, not be able to work as much or any. And those could be reasons to kind of go on claim for that. So just keep in mind that, you know, we do have that ability to protect your clients in that way. So the next one I want to talk about is going to be our term riders. This is a very interesting one. It's very unique to Banner Life. I don't know of any other insurance company that does it quite this way. But essentially what this is this is our version of term laddering. So the concept of term laddering is you buy multiple term durations, maybe the same death benefit, different death benefits, whatever it is for whatever need, but you end up with multiple policies on the client. The reason why that's beneficial is because, you know, if you need 10 years of coverage, then after 10 years, it drops off. You need 20 years of coverage, and then after 20 years, it drops off. The problem with doing it separately is going to be the fact that you're going to have multiple policy numbers that you have to keep up with, multiple premiums that you end up having to pay. But if there are policy fees or anything on those policies, you're going to have to pay it per policy. Our term rider is essentially consolidating that into one policy number. So with that, you only have to pay the policy fees on the base policy itself. So if you buy 3 policies inside it, then you only have to pay the one policy. But essentially what it does is, let's say you have a client that has a total need today of $2 million. They know that over the next 10 years, 500,000 of it can drop off. Over the next 20 years, another 500,000 can drop off. So what you'll do is you'll buy the 30 or the 20 or the 30-year policy for $2 million, and then you'll add on a 10-year term rider of 500,000, a 20-year term rider of 500,000. That way, it's the total $2 million you want today, but over time, portions of that death benefit will drop off. It's going to be one policy number, one premium that you pay. If you have to make changes to the beneficiary or address changes, you only got to submit the one form. Make sure it only or that change takes place on the base policy, and it's going to be a lower cost than buying separate policies because you're only paying the policy fee on the original policy, base policy itself. So just keep that in mind. The term riders themselves, they are convertible. So, you know, if at the end of that 10 years, you decide that, hey, I don't just want to lose that 500,000, I would rather, you know, keep 100,000 of it as a UL, you can convert that term rider or portions of it into its own standalone permanent policies. But just keep that in mind. This is a great way to stack term policies on top of each other whenever you got clients that, you know, have needs of insurance that will disappear over time.
So, you know, for agents out there that may not necessarily know, that's you're able to stack policies. Is what you're getting 3 policies in one, basically. And you know, I did see on the previous page you had a policy fee of, I believe it was $90.
Correct. Yeah, $90.
So, you know, instead of paying $90 times 3,
right,
you're only paying $90 one time for that. So that's a great benefit because then you don't lose value. You still have the ability to have that $2 million for that longer period of time.
Right.
Absolutely.
Can you drop a rider at any time too?
Yes, so you can drop. So that's also another big thing I did not mention. So inside of our OPTerm product, we do not allow for face decreases during the term duration.
Okay.
If you do the term riders, you can cancel the riders at any given point in time. All the agent or the client would have to do, or you guys would call into our customer service and say, hey, we would like to drop that 10-year term rider. You can do that at any given point in time. So if you know that a client has a, you know, they're going to want to decrease face in 3 years, then just go ahead and add the 10-year term rider to the policy. And then after however long, if they decide that they want to drop the death benefit, you just call in, cancel that rider. And then on the other side of that, if they decide after 3 years, well, shoot, it's not that much. Let's just keep it on there. That way I have the extra coverage for the rest of the time. Then you can just leave it alone. Keep it on there for a little bit longer. Right. But yes, absolutely. This is a great kind of workaround to that rule of not decreasing face, is just adding those term riders to the policy.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. All right. So kind of moving on from there, we do have our own accelerated death benefit rider. So just so everybody knows, this is a no cost upfront rider. This is automatically on pretty much every insurance policy at this given point. I don't know of a company that doesn't add it, but this is kind of the rules of how ours work. So the maximum payment is the lesser of 75% of the policy's primary death benefit, or 500,000, whatever one it hits first. So 500,000 is going to be the maximum that you can get in the accelerated death benefit. Or if your death benefit is lesser than 500,000, then it would be 75% of that death benefit. Pretty much with that, there's no cost to have that rider on the policy. The cost comes whenever you activate it. So if you ever need to use it, that's where the rules kind of come into that 75% or the 500,000. But just to have that on the policy, no cost to your client.
Yeah, so it's not, most companies have them as a rider, but yours is built in.
Yeah, correct. Ours is automatically built in. I know whenever I was at AIG and Prudential, I think there was like a button or something you had to press on like the ticket or the application that said, hey, I want the accelerated death benefit. Ours is automatic. So it's automatically going to be included on every contract.
Is there an age that it drops off?
No, Kristen, I don't believe there's any maximum age with that. It's going to be the entire term duration there.
No maximum age. The only thing I'll say is it's like a terminal illness rider, so 12 months or less left to live in the diagnosis. So that's the qualification for utilizing it. And you'd reach out to claims. Claims would assist in getting you access to the death benefit.
Perfect. Thank you, Kristen. Now, terms of term exchange. This is a really cool feature that we did bring out. I think it was not last year, it was the year before, I believe. But essentially what this is with term insurance, we completely understand that a lot of people that buy term insurance, they buy it when they're younger, they buy it when they don't have a lot of income to buy other things. So there's a lot of reasons why somebody may purchase a policy based on price alone. What the term-to-term exchange does is it allows you or your clients who purchased a policy with us in the past 48 months, where if they decide that, hey, I don't know why I went with the 10-year. I wish I had just done that 40-year duration or that 35-year or that 30-year. It allows them to be able to exchange their term policy with no additional medical underwriting for a longer duration, as long as they qualify based on age. So as I said before, the max issue age for our 40-year duration is 45. So if the client is 46 when they do that term-to-term exchange, they wouldn't be eligible for the 40-year, but they still would be eligible for the 35-year. So kind of a way to think about this is there's a few different ways to really kind of make this a useful part of your practice. As you know, first off, if you have the client where, you know, maybe they need the insurance, they know they want the coverage, but, you know, today they only have the income to support a 10-year term. Maybe over the next 48 months, you know, they've gotten a new job, they've gotten a promotion, they've had a kid, they've gotten a mortgage, whatever it may be. Now they actually need something for longer. You would be able to go back to them and be like, hey, would you be interested in exchanging that 10-year for a 30-year term? All you would have to do is fill out the term-to-term exchange application. It's kind of like consider a conversion alternative. So it's a very small kind of informal application that you would fill out just from pretty much just a way for us to be able to process that transaction. And then we would reissue the policy based on what duration you would like to increase to. Now, that's one scenario that this could make sense. Another big one is we really wanted to encourage agents to policy review with their clients. You know, you could talk about this for younger clients, but I really see that policy review coming into play for older clients. You know, you have a client, they were 50 years old when they bought their policy. Over that 48 months, what happened? Maybe they had a parent that went into a long-term care facility and they're finally seeing what those type of costs may be. Maybe now it's time to talk to them like, oh, hey, you know, we got this thing, term-to-term exchange. Would you be interested in increasing your duration? Well, no, not really increasing my duration, but, you know, I'm scared about this happening. You know, we got my family or my parents into a long-term care facility. It's costing $10,000 a month. Now it allows you to be able to be like, oh, well, we have solutions for that. You know, we have other avenues that we can explore. So you could policy review with your clients using this as a basis to go back and re-engage those clients find out what's new in their lives. Maybe it's long-term care. Maybe it's a permanent policy. Maybe it's they got married and now their spouse needs its own policy. So we wanted to give agents a reason to go back and talk to their term clients, because things can move quickly, and term insurance is a very temporary fix for insurance needs. So,
I want to say something too on the fact that needs to be upfront too, though. It's a front selling part of the plan that is exceptional. You can actually, upfront tell them, listen, if you're not in a position right now to do the 10, let's talk about it in about 12 months and let's see where you're at. And then we can come back, and that's when you're coming in. It's a selling point. It really is.
Absolutely. And, it definitely, I know probably the biggest questions I get in regards to that is, what if my client has like a medical condition, a heart attack, a cancer diagnosis? There's no medical underwriting for it. So whatever health rate they were approved at on the original policy is what they would be reissued at. Now, just to give some clarification, there is some restrictions to it. Right now, the maximum face amount that you can do is $2 million, anywhere from a preferred plus up to a table 4. So as long as the clients fall into that range, they're good for the exchange. If it's a table 5 through table 12, it's $500,000. So while this may change in the future, like the amounts, maybe they'll be increased. Today, if you have a client that they went for $3 million of coverage, they wouldn't be eligible for the term-to-term exchange. It would only be for clients that have $2 million or less in that preferred plus the table 4 range. Now, another question agents always have in regards to this is, how do commissions work? You get paid on the difference. So if the original commission was $1,000 and the new one is $2,000, you would get paid the $1,000 difference there. So just keep that in mind. From a client standpoint, some of the questions that I've seen is going to be, does this reset the clock for like contestability periods? No, your contestability periods on the policy are based on the original contract. So it does not reset the clock on anything like that. So that's probably one of the biggest ones I've ever heard a client ask me, but just know it's based off the original contract itself. Now, for the underwriting, maybe I should have had this at the very beginning of the presentation, because I know we kind of hit on it a little bit for the instant decision, but just to quickly go through this, and I know we are at time here, so I will make this very quick. Instant decision, 20 to 60, up to $4 million of coverage. From there, we have exam-free decisions. Because we are a term company, we try to do things as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible, because the longer underwriting takes and the more we have to gather, the less profitable business is for us and for you. So we try to do things as quickly as possible. So if we cannot do an instant decision, we move into a bucket that allows us to be able to ask, what do we need? Maybe it's just additional questions that we have to get answered from your client. Maybe they answered something in the application that we just need some clarification on, or maybe we just need to order some sort of background check on your client. So we will try to get policies approved without medical exams as much as possible. We only order medical exams as a last resort whenever we need information that we're not able to gather anywhere else. And then lastly, we have our full underwriting where, it would be an exam and APS orders. So this is just a copy of the lab requirements. With this right here, I'll make sure you guys have a copy of this. Not really much I really want to discuss there. This kind of talks about our instant decision. Right now, about 46% of cases that are going through underwriting are going through as an instant decision. And when I say instant decision, I do truly mean instant decision, where as your client is e-signing their application, another email is going out saying, congratulations, your client is approved. About 85% of cases are going. Yeah, absolutely. We are actively trying to increase that number. We want it to be higher than that. So we are doing everything we can to create a system that allows it to get higher than that. But currently, 85% of cases are going through without exams, 2% is exam only, and about 37% of the time we consider it to be full underwriting. Sweet spots for us. I'm not going to go through every one of these, but I will make sure you guys have a copy of this, but you can kind of see here what some of our sweet spots are. Diabetes is going to be a really big one that we are good with. Clients with treated or untreated total cholesterol under 300. But I will make sure you guys have a copy of this page. Declines, once again, quite a bit of them. But they're going to be normal declines that you'd probably see across the industry. It's nothing going to be unique to Banner Life. Postpones, once again, this can be, a lot of postpones that I see is generally going to be the alcohol abuse questions. And a lot of the times whenever it comes to the alcohol abuse questions, if you run into a client that answers something, it's just going to be the fact that they answered it in a way that sounds like they're alcoholics when it's not necessarily the fact case that they are. So if you see postpones, absolutely, it's something to look into. But just know that if it is postponed, definitely talk to the client. See if it's something that is actually accurate. Sometimes it's just a misanswered question in a way that makes us think it's a much bigger deal than it really is. But we are at the end of what I wanted to show. I will open it up to anybody if there's any additional questions at this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Sam. So Connie, Frank, Gary, Michael, I think Steven is on Facebook Live. If any of you have any questions about this specific product, you call it OPTerm.
I've been
saying
OPTerm.
OPTerm, OPTerm. I honestly, I hear it called any other way. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. So
does it stand for anything?
Man, you are asking me difficult questions now. Kristen, doesn't actually
Yeah, it just stands for options. Like we wanted to give options on term. So we want to give as many options as we could. The only thing I will say, just in conclusion, our whole process on the Banner Life side is digitized. No checks. Everything's collected electronically. We have plenty of resources for you guys to use if you want to get a little bit more educated on the actual process. We've got a Pro Navigator tool, so we can make sure you get some additional resources if you just want to learn more about how somebody applies and what that looks and feels like. So from our perspective, though, just remember, don't collect a check. Please don't collect a check. It's all done and all captured electronically. So other than that, I would encourage any additional questions or feedback, send those along. We'll address anything, any concerns or things that you might want to learn more about, let us know. We're happy to help.
I have one question real quick. Occupation, how does that play a part in the underwriting decision?
So it absolutely can make an effect, but it really just depends on what the occupation is. So, I mean, typically the big ones that I see are going to be, police officers, firefighters. But realistically, whenever it comes to those type of occupations, we're not going to ding them just for being a police officer or a firefighter. It's really going to be whenever there is a specialization inside the force, such as EOD, kind of explosive handling, or, some sort of specialized job inside those departments. There may be additional questions that we have to ask. If they're airline pilots, not a big concern. But if you are just just a regular pilot out there in your own little private little plane, that could be a concern. If you're an underwriter or a deep sea welder, diver, those could be concerns. But absolutely, those situations.
Is there an occupational chart?
I will see if I have anything that I can send over to you guys.
Okay.
We got our field underwriting guide. It may have a lot of the information in there, so I'll make sure to provide that to you.
Okay.
Awesome. And then do you guys provide any marketing materials?
Yes. So let me do this real quick.
Do you guys call them campaigns?
So we do have campaigns in a box. Let me see.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I just had one agent reach out to say she was wanting to market this OPTerm product specifically. And I was like, well, let me just see if there's anything in the portal. And oh my goodness, you have campaigns with letters, postcards, social media.
I've seen that too.
For 4 weeks. You give a full month campaign. So
yes. So this is our advisor hub. So every agent has access to this. I'll make sure I send over this link to everybody. But bannerlife.com/advisor. In here, you're going to see some really cool things. So first off, you're going to have our instant decisions and stuff like that. So this is the actual 2-day. This is what it looks like for instant decision rate, instant decisions under 50 years old, exam free, 10-day decision. But specifically, if you need to get information about our OPTerm product, then you can kind of come over here to OPTerm or products, OPTerm life insurance. You know, it will give you information about the specs. So you can download the specs page, kind of what I was showing you guys earlier in the presentation. If you want to see more about the writers, you can kind of click here. Now, the campaigns in the box, that's going to be under prospecting. So some of the cool things about this is we have entire marketing campaigns that we've already pre-built. You can kind of come in here. You got make your mark, marketing to women, let's get awkward, marketing uncomfortable topics, dispel millennial myths, marketing to millennials. So
yeah,
what
that's
you
the
do,
one we did.
yeah,
The millennial one.
So you can kind of click on that. Let's see.
Yeah, it downloads a zip file. You unzip it, but it has a guide in there for you. It has,
Yeah.
Like you can put your logo on the letter. You can still brand it to you.
Literally in a box.
In a box, yes.
I got
and so
pre-made emails, social media
too.
pieces. It's got a little bit of everything. I don't know where it downloaded. I'm afraid to change my screen here while I have
you're
things
okay.
being recorded here. So, but yeah, it'll pull up and you'll be able to pretty much just pick and choose. Like you don't have to use every single aspect of it. You can go through it. You can see what makes sense for you, what you like, and you could just use those specific pieces. So just know that if you do use it, you don't have to use the whole thing. It's very customizable. It's whatever you need it to be.
You don't have to, but I would recommend do it all. Like if you're contracted with Banner or you're going to be calling us to get set up with Banner Life and you need us to get this campaign built for you, like that's exactly what I helped an agent do. They sent me their headshot and logo. Yes. I put it on the materials and they said I needed data to send it to. I said, we can help you with that too. Sent them the data and then they have their whole month planned out.
That's amazing
for marketing the product. So I love that you guys do that for agents,
especially this time of year, coming off of what we just come off of AEP.
Yeah.
You know, having a product you can shift your focus to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stay in front of your clients.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I don't see any questions coming through. Gary said he's good. Connie said, thank you for the great information. So thank you so much for taking the time to talk to our agents. And we look forward to having you back on.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate both of you for having us on here. Let me know if you guys need anything. I will send over everything to you guys. That way, if you want to distribute it to anybody, feel free to. But yeah, just let us know what you need from us. And yeah, we appreciate the time.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day.
Bye, everyone. Bye, agent. See you Thursday. Bye.